to 100, 100 down, 100 down to the 1 to the 1, 100 down the long road colt. Tony's a $200,000 colt, boys. 100 on the... At 260, finished, stop.
Hi and welcome to Under the Gavel, a show all about the breeding industry and yearling sales. This week we're on the beautiful Gold Coast in Queensland, Australia for the first sale of the year, the Magic Millions. Now I'd like to welcome Mark Player. How are you? I'm
fantastic, Bree, and really excited to be here. It's a great time of year, and when you have a barometer sale at the start of the year to see what's going to happen for the rest of the sale season, it really is an exciting time.
Well, that's right, Mark, and I mean, there's so many horses to go through the ring, 646 lots. That's a lot of horses to get around.
It is a lot of horses to get around. There's been a huge amount of preparation to get the horses to this stage, and now the work begins of trying to get those horses to find new homes. And Magic Millions do a great job of matching up buyers to horses. They traditionally have a clearance rate of this sale of about 83%, which is a very, very high clearance rate. And that means that there is more and more people are able to find a horse that they really can take home and start the dream of having their new champion.
Now there are 22 first season size progeny on offer for the first time here.
There are, and it's always a really exciting time for the buyers to come out and get their first chance to see these horses by these new sires. And this year we've got a real mix of colonial sires and shuttle stallions coming in for the very first time. So we've seen some of the horses like Northern Meteor and Sebring become so much a part of our racing landscape. This is their chance to really stamp themselves as the future sort of custodians of the industry with their progeny. And they're matched by horses like Teofilio, New Approach and My Boy Charlie, all coming down from the Northern Hemisphere. So we haven't seen them on the track here. We've seen lots of footage of them racing, but now we get to see the way they've stamped their stock, and we get to compare those and see which are going to be the really important stallions to take this industry forward in the future.
Mark, how important is this sale to the Australian industry from an overall sales landscape perspective?
It is the barometer sale. It's the first sale of the year, obviously, and it's the first sale that we come to after having seen a lot of changes in the economic landscape around not only Australia but the world. It comes off the back of a very strong sale in Europe and another strong sale in America, so we can see that there is some optimism in the global industry that racing horses at the moment is really popular and that there's a future in it and there's a chance for people to invest. And now we look to see whether that's going to translate in Australia to that level of investment here. And of course there's a lot of really positive things happening out there. I mean, we have the New South Wales situation where there's some court cases going ahead. If they go favourably towards the industry, there's going to be a huge increase in prize money. And of course, this is the time that the people need to be buying the horses to be able to win those races in future.
Yes, but the key with the Magic Millions, there's such a great atmosphere here. It's got something for everyone, really.
It really is a very unique sale in that respect in Australasia. There is a great racing carnival as part of it, but there's also a real part of the community. Everywhere you drive around the Gold Coast at the moment, you see the banners for the Magic Millions sale. You get the tourists coming to the sale for the first time and looking and seeing these magnificent young animals. They fall in love with them. They want to then become part of the industry and so on. So it really becomes a part that's crucial to not just maintaining an industry, but growing an industry. And of course, here on the Gold Coast, there's so much done to make this something for everybody, not just for the men, but for the women as well.
There's so many great events and everything happening, of course, the outstanding racing. It's really an experience to be at.
It is, and it's at a time when most people can relax and throw themselves completely into racing. And I think that's a very, very positive thing for this sale and for the whole region.
We're going to take a quick break, but before we do, we caught up with some of the key players to get their thoughts here on the Magic Millions. In a few words, can you describe the Magic Millions?
It's just fabulous. It's fun. I think that's the most important. If you're going to spend your money, let's have some fun doing it. And you'll do it here at Magic Millions at the Gold Coast.
Very good sale.
It is the most exciting sale in Australia. It's not just a yearling sale, it's an event, it's a carnival. It's a lifestyle, it's a family fun sale with great horses.
You know, this sale's just a great sale. We're on the Gold Coast, right next to the beach. Lots to do during the night. Lots of great horses, lots of great people. So I love coming down here. The weather's great too. Just coming from cold weather from Hong Kong.
Exciting, flashy, lots of fun and hot.
A great time, great place to be, great people. Only problem is we spend too much money.
Good family fun, good sale, enjoyable to be at. And it's one thing, you keep running into all your old mates.
I guess it's all about the horses and the fun of the Gold Coast.
Exciting, fun, and something for everybody.
A good atmosphere and nice horses.
A fun place to be when you're doing your job, so it's great.
I think it's the only place to be in January.
The Age Caulfield Guineas, October 8. Book early bird tickets now.
Well-known bloodstock agent Vin Cox has recently taken the reins at Magic Millions, and Bree Laughlin caught up with him earlier this week.
Vin Cox, thank you for joining us, and the Managing Director of the Magic Millions. How are you feeling, and where have you been to arrive here?
Well, to answer how I'm feeling, I'd have to say I'm very nervous. I guess I wouldn't be human if I didn't say that I was nervous. But the journey's been, it's been a long one. I started in the industry in 1988 at William Inglis, the opposition. Had 15 years with them, doing various roles, including auctioneering and as a director on the board and private client management and things like that. And then in 2002, at the end of 2002, I left William Inglis and started my own bloodstock agency, Vin Cox Bloodstock, and did that until earlier this year, earlier 2011, when I was offered the position here at Magic Millions.
Now that you've been on both sides of the fence, obviously with your own bloodstock company and now as the auction house, what adjustments have you found you've had to make moving into your current role?
Being a private bloodstock agent, you're very reliant on your own clients and having to do, well, not so much deal with them, but just look after their needs, and therefore you're earning your living from that. This role is significantly different in as far as you're not only dealing with the vendors, you're also dealing with the buyers, you're dealing with the general public, and of course at Magic Millions we have the event across the road with the race day on January 14, which is it's got a life of its own.
Talking about your past as an agent, what were some of your most successful purchases?
The highlight of my career as an independent agent was leaving William Inglis, and one of my very first clients was Reg Inglis, the managing director of William Inglis at the time, and he asked me to buy him a horse. That horse turned out to be a Group 1 winner, Jim Carew.
Now, concentrating on the sales, do you feel that the vendors really understand what the buyers want at a sale?
Largely, yes. There are a number of things that I think that a number of vendors aren't cognizant of, they're not aware of. Buyers have got to look at a lot of horses, and they need to get through numbers in a day. And so, it's the efficiency of showing a draft of horses that buyers really appreciate.
Is there anything that vendors don't currently do, in your opinion, or are reluctant to do that you would like them to see them do more of?
One thing I've noticed, as I've suggested, I've spent a lot of time in America at Keeneland and places like that, where they have big numbers of horses selling, 300 or 400 horses a day. And the one thing they do over there, they start parading at about 7 o'clock in the morning. I'd love to see that here in Australia, particularly here on the Gold Coast, where it can get quite hot during the day.
We've seen a lot of advancements in technology over the years, online bidding and people getting around sales ground now with iPads and of course the new Equiline application. How do you think this has helped the sales process?
The benefits with your iPad applications and being able to look at horses on the internet and do some pre-selections and those things, it's creating a lot of efficiency and a lot of information there that you can put together and call at will, which is, it's great.
The Magic Millions, it's such a unique experience. It has the high quality sales with the bloodstock, but it's also teamed with the poise and glamour of a carnival, and nowhere else can you get this experience in Australia.
The Gold Coast is the #1 tourist destination in Australia. Putting on a horse sale and a racing carnival in the middle of tourist season is, it works very well.
How important do you think the sales like Magic Millions are to promoting the Australian bloodstock industry across the world?
It's significant, no question. We can attract a lot of people just by our location. If we're at the back of Burke, as they say, we'd be struggling to get anyone here. But we are in a very nice part of the world, and it's easy to sell.
With the coming sales, how do you think it's going to go?
Jerry always says the retail industry this last 12 months has been extremely tough, and you could extrapolate that out into any industry in Australia, probably with the exception of mining. What's happened in the Northern Hemisphere has been quite interesting. There's nothing out there in the Northern Hemisphere to suggest why anyone should buy a horse, but their sales are up significantly, 25–30%, which is extraordinary. And what it's come down to is the people they can't invest in, they don't want to invest in the stock market, they don't want to invest in real estate. Got a bit of money, what am I going to do with it? Well, let's go and buy a horse. I think there's going to be an element of that there, that there is an appetite for horses. They want to race horses. We've got a great product here in Australia. Our prize money's strong with the upcoming court decision for Racing New South Wales. That'll be in favour of the industry, and that'll have a huge impetus with prize money and a focus on the industry. The very good thing about our industry is it's a young industry, and there's a lot of young people in it.
Great, well thanks for joining us, Vin Cox, the Managing Director of Magic Millions, and best of luck for this week.
Thank you, Bree, appreciate it.
Mark's been working the sales complex to identify under the Gavel star picks. Now Mark, comparable to last year, what's the catalogue like this year?
I think the Magic Millions team have done an outstanding job, Bree, to put together a catalogue full of wonderful types. There's some really athletic horses here, and I think that we're going to see some stars come out of it and really perform on the racetracks right throughout Australia in the coming years.
For the inexperienced Mark, what are we looking for here?
Every buyer, Bree, looks for something different, and that's one of the beauties of the industry. But the one thing in common is that people are trying to find an athlete. They're trying to find a horse who moves in a smooth, athletic manner that indicates they're going to be able to perform to their given ability on the racetrack. And so you're looking for balance, you're looking for power, you're looking for temperament, you're looking for a lovely walk that indicates that the horse actually moves properly. And from there, you're trying to package that up to find the X factor that you think you've found something special that somebody else has overlooked.
Many stallion has come out of this sale. Looking at the colts, what's taken your eye, Mark?
Well, Bree, we could have a very long list from the vendors have really done a great job in putting some wonderful colts here for sale. But I've tried to drill down and just concentrate on 4 horses that I think have the potential not just to be really good race horses, but to be outstanding size in years to come.
Well, the first lot you've selected, Mark, is lot 265 by Fastnet Rock out of Rose of Cimarron. What do you like about this colt?
Bree, he was a colt that really took my eye as soon as he walked out of the box. Typical Fastnet Rock, a really athletic moving horse, a very strong looking horse with sort of a great attitude. Came out, stood when he needed to, walked when he needed to. And from, I think, one of the underrated nurseries in Australia, Edinburgh Park, a stud that was responsible for breeding Silent Witness, who of course won 17 straight races in Hong Kong and was rated the highest sprinter in the world for 3 years. So he was a lovely moving horse with a great attitude and a temperament that said to me, I want to be a racehorse.
Well, the second lot you've looked at is lot number 36, which is by Reduced Choice from I Got Chills, a Strawberry Hills Thoroughbreds.
Strawberry Hills, another fantastic nursery, of course, owned by John Singleton. I Got Chills was a very good sprinting mare by General Nadeem. She was a very, very fast mare. And this colt was one again that when he came out, very athletic, terrific attitude, but he just looked to have that package, that little bit of an X factor that said, I'm an athlete, I want to be a racehorse. And so he was one that I just kept coming back to time after time to say, you're something special.
Lot 457 by More Than Ready out of Aqua de Moor at Newgate Farm.
Look, just a lovely colt, more than ready. He's been an exceptional sire who possibly hasn't got the recognition he deserves everywhere. Terrific sire in both hemispheres. And this one out of a Group 1 winning mare in Aqua d'Amour, who was from a fantastic family that's just produced winner after winner. He came out of the box. He's a beautiful deep colour. He's got a very, very intelligent eye. He's got a strong rear end and a beautiful shoulder to really get clearance and so on. And then when he walks, he's just got a fantastic rhythm. And a horse that I just couldn't get out of my mind.
Finally marked for the colts, lot 532 by Reduced Choice from the mare Cloister at Revel Farm.
Yeah, look, a horse that's a half-brother to a Group 1 winner in Melito. Melito was a fantastic race mare and she was really well placed and was a horse that always gave her the best. And this horse, when he came out of the box, reminded me a lot of some of the qualities of Melito in really being a racehorse. Again, a typical Reduced Choice, a fantastic temperament, a lovely shape, very, very well balanced. And again, one that just walked and walked as if he'd do it all day long and whenever you needed him to.
Speed, muscle, type, stamping their progeny in the right way. Keep the Faith, an outstanding yearling and scintillating racehorse, exhibited unparalleled speed, including a USA National 6 furlong turf record, and he was leading Victorian freshman sire. Now Host has his first crop racing as 2-year-olds in this new season. Great walking yearlings with a huge follow-through driven by big back ends. They have a style reminiscent of how Host raced with trademark long strides and barnstorming finishes. Finally, Cap Hero. His oldest progeny are just yearlings and present at the 2012 sales. Considered the best type of yearling ever sold by Swettenham Stud Australia, he showed his class as a super fast 2-year-old and sprint winner of 10 races. Keep the Faith, Host and Cap Hero all standing at Swettenham Stud in 2011 at an early bird fee of $7,000.
Every breeder likes a nice filly in their stable, whether it be on pedigree or type. Mark, what have you found for us here?
I think we've been able to find some really nice fillies that have got both pedigree and type, and there's a good range of fillies here to look at.
The first lot we're looking at here is lot 13 by Encosta de Lago out of Gulai from Atunga.
Look, it's a lovely filly, this. It's a really well put together filly. She's got great residual value, being a half to a Group 1 winner in Jungle Pocket, and I just think that she's got a terrific balance, a lovely attitude, and the classic mile and a quarter filly that I think is going to really grow into value.
The second one we've got, Mark, is lot 281 by Fastnet Rock out of Satin Robes at the Wyndon Stud.
A filly that was just by one of the great stallions in Fastnet Rock. Satin Robes, a really well performed race mare. And this filly, as you can see on the tape, beautiful moving filly, very sweet, fantastic nature, and a tremendous rear end that just shows so much power.
Now your third pick for the fillies is lot 458 by Choisir from the mare Courthouse Lane at Broadwater.
This is a filly that when you look at the page, you don't get the same feeling as when you look at her. When she came out of the box, she just moves so beautifully. She's got a great rhythm in her walk, a very, very kind eye. And Choisir has been a great sire of fillies. So this one, I think, has got the ability or the opportunity to become a really fantastic racehorse.
And finally for the fillies, lot number 613 by Danehill Dancer out of Face of the Earth. Coolmore horse here.
Coolmore, of course, one of the great breeders in Australia. Danehill Dancer, again, a noted sire of fillies, and this one is definitely one of the best examples I've seen. Very good moving horse, athletic filly, plenty of power, and I think we're going to see her grow into value as well.
Mark, have you found some horses that might represent good value for the viewers?
I think we might have. We've found a lovely colt in lot 396, the Stratum colt, from a really excellent family that's a Group 1 producing family, but I think he might fall through the cracks on some of the buyers' lists, and so I think he's going to be very viable for real quality.
And what about a filly?
I've managed to find one from one of the South Australian studs, Cornerstone Stud, a Hussein filly, lot 559, just seems to have a terrific attitude, a great style of a filly, very similar in terms of colour and size to the really good Husseins of the past. I think she might fall through the cracks a bit for some buyers, but represent great value.
Of course, we'll follow the progress of these horses closely.
Well, Anthony, you've had to launch many a stallion at Magic Millions. This year you've got some really exciting stallions to launch.
Yeah, we certainly do, Mark. To come here with the first crop of Sebring, Magic Millions graduate, and a horse that's won the Slipper, and I guess like so much of the stallions and the success we've had at win with Slipper winners. Obviously, we launched Stratum here a couple of years ago, and we've seen how successful he's been. So we're very excited about the first crop of Sebrings. They look terrific and really positive, and we back that up with Northern Meteor, a horse that broke 2 track records. He won the sign-making Coolmore Ascot Vale Stakes, raced Fastnet Rock one, and just lovely types of horses like him, all quality, and so we've got 2 big guns, and also Warpass, a horse that we stood in conjunction with Lane's End Farm, his first crop as well. The Australians don't know as much about him, but like Sebring, he's a champion 2-year-old. He won 2 Group 1s as a 2-year-old like Sebring, and again, another really exciting prospect for us.
How difficult was it to launch 3 stallions in 1 year?
Certainly not something you try to do, but what we were looking for is stallions that will make great sires, and you can't just say which years they come along. Horses like that are so hard to secure, and they're so rare, so you take them when you can get them, and they're horses we just had to have.
One of the interesting things about Magic Millions every year is the launching of the first season sires, and you've got one of the really interesting horses to launch this year in My Boy Charlie.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the nature of the business, the exciting and the unknown, and getting young horses that are coming through and what they've got to show. But we've great faith in My Boy Charlie. He's a very good-looking horse. He was a very good 2-year-old by a stallion called Dane Time that came to the country and did extraordinary things off a low base and died prematurely, so we didn't see the best of him. So he has a bit of an unknown and a bit of a cult following. And then his son, who's out of a family that's come to Australia and done really well, with the likes of Snowland and Flurry and the lot. It was a nice cross that worked well, and for our sort of racing, he was a precocious horse himself. He's a champion 2-year-old of France, and then went on and he was going to race America. He was going very well. He did put up a chip, but slowed him up, but certainly had all the right credentials for us.
What's the one thing that you really like in the stock so far? He seems to have really stamped them as lovely coloured horses and really strong horses. What do you like about them?
Well, when we're standing stallions, you're really looking for a prepotent quality about a stallion, and there's plenty of horses that have got a good page, but you're really looking at that bit of an X factor, and he's a horse that has stamped his stock, and they are all peas in the pod, and that's a very good inherent character to get. So good, strong bay breed, bay browns, and the odd grey, of course. But he's very dominant, and they're just peas in the pod. Going around looking at them all, they're all very similar, and got great muscle and early maturing horses. I think you'll see a lot of his sort of showing up early and doing very well as 2-year-olds.
So a really ideal type for the Magic Millions, that precocious, hard-running 2-year-old type.
So many good horses come out of the Magic Millions because the nature of the sale is to get the more mature and the more precocious, and quite often they obviously go on to do things as later horses too, but that's the style of our racing. It's looking for that prepotency and precociousness, and I think that they'll fit into this really well, and they'll suit the Magic Million concept beautifully.
Glen Logan Stud from Innes Plain, Queensland have been selling at the Magic Millions for many years now with outstanding results. Mark caught up with stud manager Steve Morley to get his thoughts on this year's draft.
Steve, Glen Logan Park, probably Queensland's leading thoroughbred nursery. Your preference Magic Million sale, why is that?
Well, first of all, obviously location. We're only an hour and a half from here, and basically can ride them here to get them here. So, but it's just a terrific sale. It's one that we've really concentrated on for a number of years, and it is our main sale because that's the type of horse we breed. We have concentrated on speed runners, and here in Queensland, the prize money is really geared for 2- and 3-year-olds with the QTIS system, and so that's very conducive to being tying in with Magic Millions, which obviously the big money race is the 2-year-old race, and that's something that our sires produce. And we've really prided ourselves on.
Strike rate's a very important thing for your buyers as well, and Glen Logan Park's got a wonderful record there.
Oh, it's something we're very proud of, especially in recent seasons when we've gone from strength to strength. We've bred Magic Millions winners, the 2-year-olds and the 3-year-olds. We'll have a high representation again this year. But right across the board, our horses do a terrific job, whether it's here in Queensland or, Australia-wide, where you've got your horses that bred and raised on the farm like Turak Toff and Love Conquers All and Cheeky Choice and Cheese Mina, and there's a whole stack of them. So, we're very proud of the strike rate. We're really happy with what we're producing, and I'm very happy to be doing it here at the Magic Millions.
And I mean, Queensland's really an important part of the racing industry in Australia, but this sale really has been the flagship for Queensland breeding for many years now.
Without it, Queensland racing and Queensland breeding would be in a big hole. But the Magic Million sale is really an Australia-wide sale, but for Queensland it's of paramount importance, and it's something that, at Glenlogan we really target it. We breed specifically to get here and do we want runners in those races, and that's something that we've got a good history with.
Mark, a terrific draft for Glenlogan Park. Let's hope they sell well.
Indeed, Bree, and let's hope that all the vendors have a great sale and that it's a really positive start for the year.
Well, that's just about all we have time for this week, but there's plenty more to come in the coming weeks. Don't forget to look us up on the social networks at Under the Gavel. Until next time.
Done. All done.
Cheers.
Cheers.
$260 pennies.